Good day, everyone. It's so good to be back together with fresh new shows filled with great people highlighting our great God. The message that comes out of these episodes never gets old. And we're extra excited about this season because over the past couple of months, Heart Matters has traveled to Labrador. We're so happy to bring you some stories of hope, changed lives, and people making a difference, all from the big land. So be sure to join us for that in the weeks to come. In this episode, we'll start with a young woman from a small community right in the center of Labrador called Northwest River. Listen in as Nora Obed-McNaught shares what it's like to be a follower of Jesus within her Indigenous setting. We're also very pleased to have Picard and Pauline Mckay from Sheshashi as this week's musical guests. We hope this show is a true blessing to you today. Enjoy.
When justice called for a payment for sin, no one worthy could be found among men, but the precious Son of God, with their cross and thorn of crowns, paid a debt with the blood of the Lamb. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb. Freed from sin, free to live, now I am. And it reads on a page where my sins were written down. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb. Oh, how great was the debt that I owed, bound to pay through the seeds I have sown. But in Jesus, my Lord, a great treasure I have found. I'm redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb. Free from sin, free to live, now I am. And it reads on a page where my sins were written down. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb. Free from sin, free to live, now I am. And it reads on a page where my sins were written down. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb. And it reads on a page where my sins were written down. Paid in full by the blood of the Lamb.
Heart Matters will return in just a moment.
Looking for a quiet, clean, and economical place to stay in central Newfoundland? Emmanuel Convention Center offers hotel and motel rooms, cabins, bunk rooms, and RV lots. We are a family-friendly site featuring nature trails, a playground, and sporting areas. Give us a call today.
From envelopes to tractor-trailer loads, Dooley's Trucking caters to all your shipping needs. Capable of meeting all your shipping requirements throughout Newfoundland. Dooley's Trucking is your choice for fast and efficient delivery. Ship with the best. Ship Dooley's.
My name is Brandon Lee Mullet. I'm the owner here at Gander Appliance and Furniture, and I'd like to welcome you to our new showroom right here in Gander.
We carry a wide variety of furniture brands, including Canadian-made Decorest, Canadel Dining, and a large variety of Ashley furniture. We also carry major appliance brands such as Bosch, Maytag, and Whirlpool. Come visit us at 60 Armstrong Boulevard in Gander or 1 Fairview Street in Lewisport.
Closed captioning provided by Terry's Tents, in business for 30 years, providing canvas fabrication, printing, embroidery, craft supplies, and more, located in Happy Valley, Goose Bay.
My name is Nora Obed-McNaught. I am from Northwest River, Labrador, and I am Inuit from Nunavut. What I experienced is a very universal experience of Indigenous people. I grew up as a rebellious teenager. I smoked, I hang out with the wrong friends, I had boyfriends. I really got myself in a really big mess as a teenager. And I found myself in a really I guess you could explain it as a hopeless state. You know, I was on the outside, it probably would have looked perfect. You know, I got good grades, I was attending school, I wanted to apply for aviation school. I had dreams of being a pilot or a police officer or literally anything. And I had a bunch of friends, you know, I was it seemed great, I had a bunch of family, but on the inside, yeah, it was pretty dark. It was pretty hopeless. I remember not really knowing what I was gonna do in my life, but I think that really changed as I did start attending church. At 13, I didn't really care where I was. I was just sitting in the back of a church, observing what was going on. All these people are singing and dancing, and the pastor's preaching so loud. But eventually I started to experience something in my heart. I don't know how to describe it. I saw all of these people experiencing something more, and then here I was sitting and just I don't know, hopeless. And so I wanted to seek, or I wanted to have what these people were experiencing. And so, yeah, I attended youth conferences, youth retreats, stuff like that. And I think the first time I experienced God for myself is when the congregation or the people in a church were singing the song Good, Good Father. And I was oh, that's a love that I want to know more. Surely, yes, I have a great father here, but I want to know something more. And so I think just having that desire to know something more was just imprinted on my heart. And even though I was doing a bunch of crazy nonsense as a rebellious teenager, I really did want something more. And there came a point where I just felt so much guilt, I guess, if that makes sense, for all of the things that I was doing wrong. And obviously I knew those things were wrong. I probably wasn't the best teenager, but yeah, I wanted to change my life. So I decided to follow Jesus, and it was pretty messy first. I remember trying to stop all of these things that I was doing. I remember not necessarily having people to show me what following Jesus was like. And so I felt I was kind of navigating that on my own, which was a little difficult. I wouldn't say that my life was truly changed until I was 17. At 17, I was okay, I gotta get my stuff together. I wanna follow Jesus. I'm soon to graduate high school. What am I gonna do with my life? And so, yeah, at that point, I think things started getting better, if that makes sense. You know, I was reading my Bible, I was praying, I was experiencing God for myself. And I was okay, I'm gonna go to college in Goose Bay. I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I'll just take a transfer year, transitional year. So I took a bunch of academics, you know, those ones like English, math, science, like all of these different things. But I remember thinking to myself, like, none of this is satisfying. Like, I'm not like learning what I want to learn. And so I was talking with one person who had actually attended Bible college previously, and he said, well, why don't you apply for Bible college? And I was like, I think you're crazy. Like, I don't think that's anything that I would ever want to do. But as I started wrestling with that thought, I took a leap of faith and I applied to Bible college. And I can tell you that it was one of the most best decisions in my life. It was definitely intimidating for like a small town, like little Indigenous girl to go into like this city. And like, you're probably thinking 80,000 people is not a lot of people, but to go from a community of 600 to a city of 80,000 was a very big difference for me. And I think what was most difficult was being a minority. I don't look like these people, I don't talk like these people, I don't act like these people, and I felt really insecure. I felt really intimidated. Luckily, I realized that it's okay to be myself. It's okay that I'm different, and I wanted to embrace that. And so on the journey of like embracing who I was, I learned so much about how I could reconcile the Indigenous community and the church. Like the people in Labrador, so like where my family heritage is from, we were actually missionized by German Moravians in the 17th century. The government of Canada had like a residential school system, and so they actually took a lot of our children, like a lot of my family, so my grandparents, my great aunts, and my great uncles, and they were forced to be in residential schools. And so I think those experiences of like abuse and trauma has really impacted the way that Indigenous people view Christianity. And so I feel like I'm standing in like a middle ground, if that makes sense. You know, I'm Indigenous, but I'm also a Christian. And so I think my life goal is to reconcile the two, because I understand that, yeah, there is a lot of like past history, but I realized that it was a misrepresentation of what Christianity is, of who Jesus is. And so, I don't know, as Nora, I think my life goal is to see reconciliation between the Indigenous community and Christianity. In my first semester of Bible college, I really didn't know what I was doing. But as time went on, I realized how like burdened I felt, or how like heartbroken I felt for our Indigenous people. I mean, like, you know, the realities of like residential school, the realities of the 60s scoop, obviously the whole colonization has affected our way of life. And so I think all of that was just like really heavily like burdened on me, and I was like, God, like I want to do something, like I want to make a difference. And so from that moment, I think my whole motivation for being in Bible college is just like preparing myself, like how can I go into an Indigenous community and how can I present Jesus in the way that he should have been presented in years before? How could I bring the true and holistic gospel to these people? Because I understand that there has been a misrepresentation of who Jesus is. I volunteer with a ministry called Street Level Advocacy. And so basically it's just like a team. We make sandwiches and we get water, and we have a storage full of clothes that we go out every single day and we just give it to the homeless and the street affiliated people of Peterborough. The purpose of Street Level Advocacy is to advocate for these people. So if these people need to get like, I don't know, like a medical card, or if they need to go to the clinic, or if they need to find an apartment to stay in, or they want to get into a shelter, like these people are available to help them get back on their feet. So I think simply volunteering in spaces like those makes a difference. It really impacts your own heart, and it gives you more experience to see like how you could help others. I think that goes the same again for like working at the Addictions Treatment Center in Sheshashi. I mean, I myself can't really make a difference, but to simply be available for those people. A lot of people can say like, I want to do this and I want to do that, but to actually make a difference, you have to really step out of your comfort zone. You have to make yourself uncomfortable in order to actually see a difference. I think what Christians could do in like a community sense, like we have like addictions treatment centers, we have like shelters for homeless people in Goose Bay. I think what we could do is simply make ourselves available. And that's even talking about myself. So like, I don't know, I don't really go out of my way, but like to simply work at an addictions treatment center, to just be in that presence. You know, I'm not shouting from the rooftops like I'm a Jesus follower, but like to be available to those people, to listen to those people, to support them in like their journey of healing and recovery. I think that's enough sometimes. I just really want to meet the people who desperately need Jesus, those who are marginalized, those who are angry at the church. Like I want to see reconciliation. I want to see restoration with those people. So I really do hope that in the future we will have many more churches across the nation of Canada in these northern communities that not only reflect the true and holistic gospel, but also does it in a culturally relevant way. So how are these people going to understand Jesus? Like to see how Jesus has, I don't know, changed my view of what the church should be is really important to me, and I want to share that with other people. This is a big thing, but I want to see a difference in Indigenous communities, and so I really set out as my goal to really make a difference. The generation of my grandparents and the generation of my parents, of Indigenous people who still have anger, who still have resentment towards Christianity. I have Jesus, and like Jesus has all of the answers. Jesus brings healing. So it makes me really wish that I could like merge the two together. If I could do one thing in life, it would be that.
Every story, song, and message that we share here is done through people. God loves people, and so do we. That's why we want to hear from you. Have a suggestion for an upcoming show? Let us know about it. Has something you've heard on the program impacted you? We'd love to hear that too. Simply drop by our website and send us a message. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media to keep up to date on upcoming episodes and events. Still to come in today's show, The Bottom Line with Mike Freake, and more music from Annie Picard and Pauline Mckay when Heart Matters returns.
Scott's Transport Limited is a family-owned and operated full transportation company located in beautiful Deer Lake. In business for over 25 years and with a fleet of modern equipment and dedicated team, we service the growing needs of businesses from Newfoundland and Labrador to Ontario and locations in between. If it matters to you, it matters to us.
RE/MAX would like to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of the most important transaction of your life. Our mandate is giving back to the communities that serve us. We will be honored to help you with your next move. Call any of our offices today and let one of our RE/MAX agents go to work for you.
A while ago, as I was working at the office, I received a phone call from my wife, Jenny. And as soon as I answered the phone, I could tell in her voice that something was wrong. She said that she had just been in an accident, but that she was okay. And she went on to explain that she was making a turn at a set of lights and someone coming in the opposite direction was making a turn as well and hit her on the passenger side of the vehicle. Well, when she was talking to me, her and the other driver were pulled into a nearby parking lot exchanging information. And like I said, I could tell that she was a little shaken by the experience, so I asked her if she wanted me to come up to where they were, and she said yes, and we hung up. She turned to the gentleman and went on to say that my husband is on his way. When she said that, he responded by asking, "Is he a big man?" To which she replied, "No, he's a little one." Thanks, Jenny. Now, I would have to agree with Jenny. I don't think I describe myself as big and intimidating. And the little man is likely a more accurate description. You know, when describing God, lots of people have this perception that God is little, that he's somehow limited, when that is actually so far from the truth. Because the truth is, God is big. Well, what do I mean when I say that? I mean that God is all-powerful, that there is nothing beyond his ability, and he's not limited by anything or anyone. Our story today and the stories that we will share in the upcoming weeks are stories from Labrador, also known as the Big Land. The Big Land of Labrador is referred to that because of its vastness and size. But even more than that, the Big Land is known for having its share of big problems. And there's been lots of proposed answers and solutions given to solving them. Lots of big money has been invested into those solutions. And as we have seen, that doesn't always work. Our story today and in the weeks ahead will be a great reminder to everyone watching that God is big enough. He is more than enough to alter and change the course of lives and situations when given the opportunity to do so. The bottom line is this, is that we serve a big God who can do big things in the big land. And these stories will show us clearly that that is the case. In the Bible, in Mark chapter 10, followers of Jesus were faced with what seemed to be a problem that was too big. Jesus looked at them and he said, "With man, it is impossible, but not for God, for all things are possible with God." And isn't that good to know for your life today? Not only is God doing big things in the big land, but he wants to do big things in your life. And some of you need to hear this today because some of you are facing what appears to be insurmountable obstacles and problems that in the natural seem to be too much. But the God that we have been talking about today is big enough, and nothing is impossible with him.
We are always needing Him. That's the truth, friends. Annie and Pauline just sang a prayer where they confess that I can't make it by myself, no matter what I do. If we left it there, things would sound pretty hopeless. But that's where Jesus steps in. In our weakness, in our limitations, even in our sin, Jesus offers a new life. He has the keys to the door, and it's up to you to walk through it. I want to thank Annie and Pauline for singing that over all of us today. I also want to thank Nora Obed-McNaught for sharing some of her story and her heart with us. We pray that all of these women will continue to shine the light of Jesus in Labrador. We believe that the people of Labrador have a special place in God's story, and it's our privilege to shine a light on just a couple of them. So be sure to come back again next week for more stories from Labrador. Have a great week, folks, and we'll see you next time.